Amarawa Hopa, thank you for joining us. The U.S. Supreme Court has overturned a landmark decision that previously had been upheld for decades. The High Court reversed Roe v. Wade on Friday. This means the constitutional right to an abortion, which was upheld for nearly half a century, no longer exists. Since 1973, Roe v. Wade had permitted abortions during the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy in the U.S. Going forward, abortion rights will be determined by states unless Congress acts. Already, many U.S. states have or will pass laws that ban abortion. Others have enacted strict measures regulating the procedure. And there will be more to come later in our newscast. In Oklahoma, Tuesday's primary election is set. ICT's Pauly Denetclaw is tracking 2 Native candidates running for Congress. They are running to represent Cherokee Congressman Markwayne Mullen's seat. Mullen is running for Senate, which is why his seat will be vacant.
Try to make that difference. That's why we decided to run.
In a crowded field of 14 Republicans running to represent Oklahoma's District 2, Wes Nofire and Guy Barker are aiming to stand out from the crowd. Nofire, a Cherokee councilman, says he decided to run because of the state of the country.
The freedoms that I had, the opportunity that was given to me by my parents, and, we had so much availability to do things when we aspired to live out our dreams. And right now, the way the country's going and the direction that it's headed, I fear for my kids and what kind of country they're going to inherit.
Nofire is a conservative candidate. As a former nationally ranked boxer, he is running on a platform of standing up and fighting for important issues. One of them is the McGirt decision.
Being in the background of Native American policy and affairs on this specific issue, there's nobody that's running for Congress that has that capability of being able to find solutions to some of the problems and obstacles that's arisen out of that.
Nofire isn't the only candidate talking about the McGirt decision. Guy Barker, who is Quapaw and Osage, is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Quapaw Nation. He has a background in law and has clerked for the Oklahoma Supreme Court.
There seems to be attitudes, whether it be from leadership at other tribal governments or specifically also the leadership here in the state and governor's office has the stance that this is an insolvable issue, that it needs to be reversed. I don't see it that way. This is a decision that is called for the enhancement of criminal jurisdiction.
Barker believes his background gives him an advantage to help bridge the conversations between state and tribal leaders.
I'm the only one with a law degree actually running in my race, so I feel kind of uniquely qualified to be able to walk us along that tightrope. But I think it's ever more important that with this being such a front stage issue, that we have somebody that one understands the legal complexities of it.
There are key locations in this district, including the headquarters of the Choctaw Nation, as well as the capitals of the Cherokee, Muskogee Creek, and Chickasaw Nations. In Washington, D.C., Pauly Denetclaw for ICT News.
The winner of the Republican primary is likely to win the general election in November, and we'll check in with Pauly Denetclaw after Election Day for results. Well, a chance meeting is helping to return sacred artifacts to one Indigenous nation. According to reporting by the New York Times, nearly 20 years ago, Yaqui citizen Andrea Carmen was invited to view a Swedish museum's Americas collection. That was when she spotted artifacts from her tribal nation. It took the museum 11 years to issue an official response and 8 more for the artifacts to be returned. This month, museum officials, the Swedish and Mexican governments, and the United Nations met to begin the transfer. This is the first successful repatriation of cultural artifacts to an Indigenous group overseen by the UN under its Declaration of Indigenous Rights. Now there is a new push to have the UN's cultural agency create a database of Indigenous artifacts in museums and universities. In New York State, Indigenous Peoples Day is officially being recognized in one city. Last week, Rochester's City Council unanimously voted to permanently recognize the holiday. Ronalyn Pollock, who is the chair of the Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee, says the monumental vote was long overdue. Pollock went on to say this brings an opportunity for healing, not only between people, but also to the land. Rochester Mayor Malik Evans says he is in strong support of the day. All city offices will be closed on October 10th of this year.